Hey guys, Nick O'Neill of Fortuna Found here, and last week we did a video about things you could be doing during this time, the COVID-19 time, where most of us can't go out and fly our kites. And one of the big things that included was repairs and replacements of parts on your kite. So I was with Paul DeBacher of Level 1 Kites USA, who also happens to be my partner, and yeah, he told this story about a white kite that he had, and he was out flying, doing a demo. He laid it back on some hard grass and it poked a hole through the sail. All we had on hand was some black reinforcement tape, and so we did a field repair patch, and that patch is held. So one of the questions that came up on that video is if we could show that kite and what it looks like. It just so happens we have that kite here in the studio. We've been doing some replacement work on it, some of the spars, and kind of looking over it. So I have the sail right here. Of course, it's not framed up, so you get to, but you see, it's a mostly white kite with this blue accent, and this little black dot right here, that is the replacement patch. And it just so happens it was right near the lower spreader where it goes through, so it was a little frustrating to see a hole there, but yeah. This patch has been on there for probably 5-6 years. It's gotten some really heavy use on the kite and haven't had any problems with it. This is also why Paul and myself recommend that you use a clear Mylar patch when you're doing repairs, so that you don't have that very obvious color different patch on your kite. So yeah. One of the other questions was on that video is if I could kind of do a walkthrough of some of the basic repairs that you might run into. So in this video, what I'm going to do is some basic sail repair. Maybe in a later video, I'll do replacing leading edge connectors, spars, and stuff like that. This is just very basic sail repair, so this kind of goes for not only sport kites, but also other kites that you might have in your quiver. All right. So first up, we're going to do that tear and Insignia tape patch on it. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so here we have our piece of ripstop. And again, I've marked it here just so we can see it a little bit easier. When you're doing your repair, I would recommend you don't mark it. Again, this is just marked with a Sharpie in an opposing color so we can see it a little bit better. In general, you do want to use a Mylar repair patch, and so it's clear. You won't see it when it's flying in the air, but honestly, Insignia tape of an appropriate color isn't a bad option. What we're going to do is we're going to figure out roughly how big of a patch we need. So I've cut 2 pieces here that are bigger than the patch that we need, because we need enough room on the piece that we cut out to round the corners. It's really important that you round the corners. Part of the reason why is you see this hard corner right here, this 90-degree angle, that could potentially create a flag. And what I mean is that the Insignia tape is sticking up a little bit, and with enough wind, with enough pressure, it could start to peel off and it makes your patch completely pointless. Now, honestly, this is ripstop nylon, so the stop should stop. The rip should stop. However, we're just going to give it a little bit of extra oomph. So as you can see, I have 2 pieces of Insignia tape here of roughly the right size, and I'm just going to round the corners. And there we go. It's not pretty because I'm doing it kind of fast. It doesn't hurt if you take a little bit of time and make this look a little bit better, but hey, I'm putting green Insignia tape on red. So I've got my piece here. I see where my tear is. I know that my piece is mostly clean. I've wiped it of any sand or salt or other debris that might be on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this Insignia tape There we go. To peel off. And if you can see, there's adhesive on one side and the regular fabric on the other. Typically what I'll do is I'll pull back about half and I leave it on there like that. It makes it easier to stick this part flat down, create some pressure, and get the other side flat. You can pull all the backing off, but just make it easier on yourself and do this halvesies thing. All right, so there's my halfway mark and my halfway mark on my tear. I'm going to push that down, making sure there's no air bubbles in there, and then hold here and just pull that off. Flatten it out, making sure there's no wrinkles. So there we go. Super fancy, as you can tell, right? Pretty strong though. All right. And then of course we're just going to do the other side so that we can make this repair complete. Again, I'm going to go to about halfway. And ideally I've cut these two repair patches to be the same size so that they line up perfectly. And there we go. Remember, most kites you're seeing at 50, 75, 100 feet away. So it's okay to do what we call the 3-foot job. If you cannot see any imperfections at 3 feet, then I wouldn't worry too much about making this absolutely precise because you're not going to see it at 100 feet. So, all right, there is our Insignia tape repair. And as, I don't know if you can see the tear line, I'll try and mark it in there. I can see it when I hold it up to the light. There is the tear. So I am solidly all the way around it. You could do a repair patch smaller than this. I did a very large repair patch. I would suggest doing a little bit smaller. A good rule of thumb is the thumb. About a thumb's distance, the width of your thumb, from all edges. And that should be good enough to hold the patch. If you do more, cool. It's not going to negatively affect it. All right, so next we're going to go over repairs in mesh and venting, which is a little bit trickier. There's some extra steps you have to take. Some things to know. You can use a Mylar repair patch as an emergency field repair. However, I would not use it long term. And part of that is because due to the nature of mesh, you're not going to get a full seal. And stuff can start to work its way in between the layers of the Mylar patch and could potentially make the patch useless. So it's useful if you want to keep flying for the day type of thing. You might get a few more flights out of it, but you're probably going to need to deal with it at a later time. So it's good as an emergency field repair, but not a long-term solution. So then you have to kind of decide, is this a tear that's going to grow, or is this a tear that is going to stop? And what I mean is, if we look here, and this is really hard to see because this is mesh, so hopefully you can see that. You see I've created a little bit of a hole right here. Now this tear goes vertically from what we're going to assume is the top panel here where it's sewn into ripstop nylon into, say, a leading edge if you're flying a quad line, or imagine this is another piece of ripstop nylon over here if you're flying a dual line and you have mesh venting on the inside. Now this tear, it's more of a puncture. The nature of it and the forces that are going to be applied on it, it's really hard for that tear to propagate past the stitching. It may blow apart into the stitching, but it's not going to become bigger this way. It's only going to become bigger this way. So it's not really going to grow. So you could keep flying on it and never deal with it. You get too many of these and yeah, you pretty much are going to end up with a full replacement. So when I'm talking about a tear growing, let's see if I can show this tear. There we go. This tear is horizontal, right? So the chances of it growing, let's see if I can make it grow a little bit. There we go. I made it expand out here and expand out here. And again, depending on the type of mesh you have, it could stop the tear, but generally it's going to propagate. Over time, this tear is going to grow. It's going to get bigger. You're going to be able to stick more than one finger in there. All right, so that leaves you with the fact that you're going to have to replace the whole mesh panel. And the best way to do that is you're not going to cut out the mesh panel here. You could and then potentially sew the mesh panel on. But the real professional way of doing it is you'll actually remove the stitches here. And you can use a seam ripper or very, very thin scalpel. And you're going to cut out all these stitches without damaging the ripstop nylon. You're going to cut a new piece of mesh. You're going to place it in there. And then you're going to sew back along the same holes, creating a backstop on both sides of where the mesh panel is getting replaced. And you're going to sew through the same holes and seal that mesh panel back in. If you're dealing with quad line kites, this may also be a time that you go ahead and replace your leading edge sleeve up here. You can always use the same leading edge sleeve. Not really an issue. But it's like, you know, replacing an engine in a car. If you're going to replace the engine, why not replace the hoses? So go ahead and, you know, you got it apart, so why not do the work type of thing. It's easier to do it now. All right, so there we have it. We have how to do a simple tear repair on a piece of ripstop nylon with Insignia tape, and how to do a repair on a mesh panel, which of course, just got to replace the mesh panel, potentially. In another video, I'll go over how you can use super glue for pinhole tears and for some other tears, and what happens if you have a massive tear through a ripstop panel. So what you're going to need to do is actually remove that panel and replace it with a new one, and we use a technique called applique to replace the panel. So yeah, we'll do that in another video. Just wanted to show you these quick repairs that you can do. These are very much in your wheelhouse. And all right, so stay safe, everyone. And I can't wait to see all you guys on the kite field. If you have any questions or you have suggestions for videos, let me know. I've got the time. This is the perfect time to be doing them. And yeah. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find us on Instagram and on Facebook under Fortuna Found. And give us a like if you like what we're doing. I've got this little link called Buy Me a Coffee. Look for Fortuna Found. The link is in the description below. Every little bit helps. It really helps with getting all the material here and getting everything done. So yeah. All right, bye guys. I gotta go repair more kites. I got a nose job to do. Ooh, that'll be a good video. How to repair a nose on a sport kite, or how to repair pockets and spars on an already established kite that you've been flying for a while. All right, bye guys.